Hey everyone, Brayden here coming to you with a very special video. I bet you didn't see this one coming. If you recall, back at the start of the year, Universal announced a new family-oriented theme park coming to Texas. For a while, Middle America has been begging for some sort of serious, substantial theme park somewhere out there, like a Disneyland Texas, something like that. Disney hasn't showed much of any interest. Universal, though, identifying the market, they're now working on a theme park out there. Well, now another player is entering the fray, as this past week, a brand new $2 billion theme park was announced to be located in Oklahoma, slated for a very ambitious 2026 opening. The park is called American Heartland Theme Park and Resort, and it's not just a theme park, there's also a hotel as well as a massive RV park, which will also feature cabins. Unlike the park Universal announced, which will be a scaled down version of what you can find at their premier theme park destinations on the coast, this competitor, American Heartland, isn't going to hold back in the slightest. This is the company's first and only theme park thus far, so they have no concerns about cannibalizing their business on the coast. They have no business on the coast, and as a result, they can go full force with a premier theme park destination in the middle of America, as you can see in this concept art. You're going to have launch coasters, boat rides, immersive lands with attractions very reminiscent of the Magic Kingdom. In the press release, they are so bold as to specifically name the Magic Kingdom and Disneyland, pointing out that American Heartland's 125-acre theme park will be comparable in size to the Magic Kingdom and Disneyland Park. Before we get into all the details and the nitty-gritty of this plan, I think we should first address the elephant in the room. People announce stuff all the time. It's very easy to make concept art. It's very easy to make a media splash and then nothing ever happens. $2 billion for a theme park in the middle of nowhere in northeast Oklahoma. It sounds a little too good to be true. Is this really going to happen? Is this for real? Who's funding all of this? Well, I did some sleuthing looking into what exactly is going on here, and I can tell you the funding for this project is legit. It's crazy, but it is legit. So get this, this park has no investors and it has no loans from the bank. That's right, as of right now, and this is confirmed by the company itself, American Heartland is being funded by one man, a $2 billion investment, one guy. You might be saying, Elon? No, the chief creative officer and founder of this project, of this company, American Heartland, Gene Bicknell. He's the guy behind this. During my research, I found Mr. Bicknell has worn many hats throughout his life, such as being a pilot, an actor, a broadcaster, a cattle rancher, all sorts of things. But most notably, he began opening Pizza Hut franchises starting back in 1962. He formed these franchises under his company called the National Pizza Corporation, and ultimately came to operate 1,100 Pizza Huts across the United States. Then, after almost 50 years, he sold the company in 2006, and at the time, he had just become a Florida resident. But his home state of Kansas, they wanted some of that sweet pizza dough, and they claimed the pizza man owed the state of Kansas $42.5 million in income taxes. Bicknell tried for years to reverse the ruling, maintaining he'd resided in Florida during those years to no avail, eventually being forced to pay the $42.5 million to the state of Kansas in 2017. After that, he sued the state, and the Supreme Court found Bicknell did in fact legally reside in Florida leading up to and during the sale of the National Pizza Corporation, ordering the state of Kansas to pay Bicknell over $63 million this time last year. So you might say, on top of his existing net worth, the Pizza Hut legend has a bit of liquid capital to play with and put towards a theme park like this. Quite an exceptional situation we've got here. A sole funder of a $2 billion theme park. Wild stuff. Getting into the nitty-gritty of this newly announced American Heartland Park, the exact location of this park will be just outside of the town of Vinita, Oklahoma, which lies along the historic Route 66. The closest international airport is about an hour away in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The first component of this new resort is slated to open in the spring of 2025, so not that long from now. That's just the RV park component, which will also include cabins. The theme park component is slated to open the following year in 2026. Given the site currently looks like this, to get the entire park done, a full theme park done by 2026, they got to have some pretty special contractors and construction crews here, because that sounds like a very ambitious timeline. This project is being led by a team of theme park designers, including over 20 former Disney theme park planners and Imagineers. Additionally, American Heartland is contracting with major rides manufacturers and show set designers who also do work for Disney and Universal. The theme of the park, as the American Heartland name suggests, is about our shared American story and what America is all about. It'll open with 6 themed lands, each with different themes that are very immersive, much like you have at the Magic Kingdom. The first land you'll enter is Liberty Village, located at the front of the park. Described as a small town with a big heart, you're likely already thinking Main Street USA, right? The difference here is, and this is something I noticed, it's not something I've heard anybody say, but if you think about it, Main Street USA at the Magic Kingdom, that's based on Walt's childhood memories of growing up in Marceline, Missouri. And his memories of Marceline, Missouri are from around the turn of the century. Conversely, this small town seems to be reminiscent of what a small town looked like in Middle America when Gene Bicknell, the funder of this park, was a child. Think about it, he was born in 1931, and this area looks pretty 1940s to 1950s to me. Let me know what you guys think. I suspect that's what's going on here, and I do think that this is a cool period to depict small town America in that we don't normally see at theme parks. In the model for the park, this isn't a 3D render, by the way. This is a real flyover of a scale model. You'll notice a bandstand in the center of the town square. Walt himself planned to do the exact same thing with his town square when he was originally building Disneyland, but since it obstructed views of the castle, the bandstand was moved elsewhere and quickly moved out of the park for good. What's interesting is the layout in the scale model doesn't line up quite exactly with the overview concept art, which shows the spot in the middle being home to a statue. Is that a statue of the Pizza Man? And also in that overview art, you'll notice the bandstand, it has been moved down the street past the town square, which for crowd flow reasons might make more sense. It's still a work in progress here. My vote would be put the stand at the end of the street. Definitely do a well-themed street. It doesn't need to be as long as Main Street, but definitely have a street there. And also the version that has a fountain at the end, and then you can overlook, you can look across the water at all the different lands. That is really cool, and I think that is what they should do there. The next land we have is the Great Plains, home to a barnstormer coaster, a spinner attraction, and a more significant jackalope coaster. This land will be themed around rural America and might even be home to a sighting of a UFO. In between the Great Plains and Bayou Bay will be a live Pirates-themed show, which the park's creatives described as explosive in their announcement. Getting to Bayou Bay itself, it's a little more substantial than what Disney's doing right now over at the Magic Kingdom, retheming Splash Mountain. Here you have an entire bayou-based land featuring a Jungle Cruise attraction, except you aren't cruising through the jungle, you are cruising through the bayou. You are going through an American swamp home to alligators, so be careful. The land will incorporate some unique food offerings, especially unique for Oklahoma of all places, and I must say that that stately manor looks really, really cool. Next up, we have Big Timber Falls, which American Heartland says will be home to tall trees and taller tales. Themed around the American Northwest, the land will feature man-made whitewater rivers and a very impressive looking log flume attraction that may be themed around Bigfoot. Then we finally have something you'll be hard pressed to compare to the stuff you have at the Magic Kingdom, Stony Point Harbor. This unique land will be themed around a timeless American coastal town where old sailors tell tales of their voyages across the seas. The land will feature a haunted lighthouse attraction, serve plenty of seafood, and house the 4-star in-park hotel, the Stony Stony Point Inn, which overlooks the park. Last up, we have what looks like the coolest land in my opinion, Electropolis. Based on the iconic American World's Fairs of years past, this American innovation-themed land will feature what looks to be a very Velocicoaster-esque launch coaster which weaves through the land and over the water. At night, it's quite likely the ride vehicles will look like bolts of electricity surging through the metropolis. The land also very prominently features a drop tower, as you can see there. Mind you, most of what I just told you is just what I could see in the art and model that we got. The theme park, they haven't announced most of the attractions besides saying that there's going to be 19 of them when the theme park opens. So if there was a land that sounded a little light on rides or shows, mind you, I'm just going off of what's very visibly apparent in the few views that we have here thus far. I don't know about you, but if this ends up being built how it looks here, oh boy, am I buying a plane ticket out to Tulsa, Oklahoma, because it looks pretty awesome. As far as immersive lands go, this model is up there with the stuff that we see from Disney and Universal. And don't get me wrong, I'm not calling this upstart that hasn't done anything yet and is currently looking at a grassy field that has nothing on it. I'm not comparing them to Disney and Universal, saying they're all on the same level or anything like that. I'm saying if this theme park, if it ends up coming to fruition as it looks here, it is going to give Disney and Universal a little bit of pause perhaps. It's really cool to see someone doing something like this. Of course though, ideas are easy. The question is, can they execute on all this? Will these lands be themed down to every fine detail like Disney did in the past? We'll just have to wait and see on that, but definitely something to be excited about here. Another ride I'm not sure qualifies as being part of any of these specific lands, but is very visible if you zoom out in the overview art, is this attraction that circles the park much like you have with the train at Disneyland and the Magic Kingdom. The difference is, this attraction, it's not a train, it's a roadway that appears to have cars driving on it. Again, with this, you can tell, unlike Disney, where the visionary was hearkening back to his childhood around the turn of the century, where passenger trains were the predominant mode of mass transportation, the creator of this park, having been born much later than Walt, is hearkening back to his childhood, where the American automobile was becoming dominant and coming into form, and Detroit was churning out the coolest looking cars we ever got. Such a cool idea here. Now that I've given this theme park concept some well-deserved praise, I do think it looks quite cool. Let me know what you guys think. Let's get into some constructive critiques. Firstly, this is the most glaring in my opinion, the name. The name of this park is very hard to remember. What's the name of this park? Do you know what the name of this park is? It's American Heartland. You see, when I think of the name of this park, first of all, my brain goes to the stuff that's more interesting about it. I think of the story of the founder of the park. I think about what's going to be in the park itself, the different lands, the stuff that seems quite unique. When I try to think of the name of the park, I think America, and then I want to say Great America, which turns out to already be an existing park. And then I feel like I remember, no, it's American something. American Homeland, which is another very similar, almost interchangeable phrase to American Heartland, which is the name of this park. The reason I think this forgetful name is a little bit of an issue is because when you are coming after the likes of Disney and Universal, who have immense brand recognition, they are very established, they own all these proprietary IPs they adorn their parks with, you're already starting from a place of being more generic than your competition with a park like this. So it is crucial you come out of the gate with your own very strong original IP, a brand with strong name recognition that is unique and easily marketable, where people hear it and they know what you're talking about. Disney, everyone knows that. It's Disney. American Heartland, it sounds like something you'd expect to hear every single politician in America on both sides of the aisle mention at least once during every single rally. And the meaning of the name to its creators is very evident. It's very clear that the spirit behind this is very earnest. They want to call it American Heartland because that's what they're about. That's what they're trying to support and that's what they're trying to celebrate. The issue is it's just hard to remember. Let me know what you guys think. The only other major critique that I have is it's another branding related thing. The park seems to lack a park icon. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Now, there's no reason why they need to do exactly what Disney's done, what Walt did, and put a castle or some other icon right in the center of the park. You don't have to do that. You can do what other parks do, like Universal Universal, for example, and just have an iconic entrance. A great example is the Islands of Adventure, which has that lighthouse out front. What is that lighthouse? I couldn't tell you. I know there's some sort of theming story behind it, but you know, when you see that lighthouse, that is Universal Islands of Adventure. It becomes synonymous with the park itself. When you give your park an icon, not only does it give your park an immediately identifiable visual trademark, it's something that you can put on merchandise. It's something that you can put on everything and reinforce your brand. Look at what Disney does. They put their park logos on everything. Currently, the logo of this American Heartland Park is about as generic as the name itself. And I'm not saying Disney and Universal are doing that much better in this regard lately either with the names, you know, Universal with their Universal Epic Universe, which is kind of a funny name. And then, you know, over at Disney, the CEO and the CFO on earnings calls, they couldn't even recall what the name of the Star Wars hotel was. That's how forgettable it was. So clearly at Disney and Universal, they're having similar problems, but those guys are able to lean on past creative, past very clever branding, which is already very established and everybody knows. As far as nitpicks of the park itself, dude, it's great. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. I'm taken aback, especially by how much live entertainment is included in this concept in comparison to what you have at Disney and Universal these days. You'll notice in the overview art, there's at least 4 different outdoor live entertainment areas, and several of these lands have additional live entertainment indoors as well that we don't have many details on just yet. Again, it's easy to make concept art and models and all of that. It's going to be much harder to execute on that vision and actually find and employ live entertainment talent and house all those people to make this possible out in the middle of nowhere in northeastern Oklahoma. But that's what I wanted to touch on, because something that particularly drew me to this project, watching the announcement, it wasn't just the Pizza Hut guy who's 92 and clearly dedicating the sum of his life's work to this project, which is quite compelling, but also all the other folks involved. There was a man who kicked off the announcement, which was held in the town of Vinita, Oklahoma, the city that will be forever transformed should this theme park come to life like they're promising. And he spoke as a resident who was born in the town of the issue they face as a small community in the heartland of America today. And that issue is kids grow up, they benefit from the townspeople, they learn from the townspeople, they benefit from the city, and then when it's time to become an adult, they're forced to go elsewhere to pursue their life goals. Listen to this.
I'm very proud to be from Vinita. Growing up here, I've heard the outcry of our community for more. Our children, born here, raised here, educated here, yet move elsewhere seeking opportunities in the pursuit of their dreams. Over the past 20 years, some 1,300 people have left our community. Imagine that trajectory without change. Today, I'm thrilled to announce, Vinita, our time has come.
Some really compelling stuff there. There's a core question with theme parks we never end up getting to because there's always something else to talk about and focus on. Something that's been asked since the time that Walt started buying up orange groves in Anaheim is this: are we actually making the place better? You know, you build a theme park and yeah, you're adding all sorts of jobs and all sorts of development to the area. The politicians are super excited about it, but also adding a theme park comes with all sorts of riffraff, all these tourist traps move into the area, and all the mom and pop businesses that were there when you came in, they get bought out by conglomerates looking to make a ton of money. And the master planner has to wonder to himself, did I provide new opportunities to the people of the town and make it a better place? Or did I completely transform the town into something totally different and uproot the people that made the place what it was, what I liked so much about it to begin with? At the same time, without any new business, what are the people a city like Vinita produces going to do? Are they all going to stay? Likely not. It's that yin-yang between tradition and progress, and there's a lot of juxtaposition when it comes to the theme parks, which seem to really tap in on, the old days and the past, but also seem to celebrate the future, which is also sort of at odds with the past. Not to get too philosophical, but there's definitely a lot to explore there. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe subscribe to those notifications on to stay up to date on all the latest Walt Disney World news, as well as related theme park news. Here we have a new theme park saying, hey, we're just about the size of the Magic Kingdom. We're going to be out here in the Midwest, and we are going all out. $2 billion funded by one guy. Absolutely wild. We'll see if it works out. I'll keep you guys up to date on this. If you'd like to support the creation of these videos, find out how over at mickeyviews.com/support. Link in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. From the Mickey Views Magic Studio, this is Brayden. Have a magical day.